Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 25 of the Spice Squadron podcast.
What? That is absolutely wacky wild. Halfway to 50.
That is
quarter of 100.
Quarter of 100, absolutely. This week we're going to be obviously discussing the spoilers that we that have happened throughout the week. But we'll be talking about pre-release and what to expect during that pre-release. And we'll be talking about if you go check out our gameplay this week, it will be a simulated sealed environment. So
very excited. It was so fun.
We did it just before, so we will be talking kind of about what happened during that. So if you want to stick around for the spoilers, you can.
But pause now, go watch the gameplay, and then come back here and check out all the cool new cards, and then, we'll just sit down, we'll have a yarn, and we'll talk about kind of what we saw and what we thought. So go do that now, you beautiful bastards. Alrighty, but diving into it, we have 7 reveals to show off.
7 reveals in the first.
We were wrong.
We were very wrong.
I was wrong.
Yeah, well,
I thought he would be Red Hero.
I thought he'd be Red Hero too, but he's
neutral
not.
blue.
He's neutral blue. It is.
It's Baze.
Baze.
Here he is.
He is a 4-cost neutral blue unit. He is a 2/5, which is explained pretty quickly by the fact that he has grit. He also has a conditional sentinel if you have the initiative.
Kind of like the Starfighter.
Viper.
No, not that one. The Starwing Scout. In that kind of cycle of the Consortium Star Viper, if you have the initiative does something. He's like a weird mini Chewie.
Yeah, like a mini Chewie, or like a
little bit worse.
A little bit.
A little bit worse.
One less attack.
I'll tell you what.
Slightly cheaper rugged survivors.
I'll tell you what though, Baze, although he's no rugged survivors, although he's no Chewbacca, he's not a bad sealed card. You get him, you put him down, and you claim, and then your opponent has to swing a lot into him to get rid of it.
He's also not a bad turret card. Being able to give him +0/+2, and then having the initiative or claiming the initiative does make him quite annoying to deal with. It does have the opportunity to deal with a lot of cards, or just kind of in general be annoying.
I will be honest, he's not my first pick for turret.
No.
I think Baze is an interesting card, and he falls a little bit short. I really do wish he was Red Hero, but I kind of understand it, and I think it's not this. This card doesn't not do justice to his character. I still think it fits his character. You know, when he's on top of it, he's guarding turret. Otherwise, you know, he's the man that just, when he gets hit, he keeps hitting back. I mean, the scene where he dies, make an opening. He takes a lot of people out. He kills a bunch of people for turret. He gets shot a bunch.
A whole lot.
A whole bunch.
Whole lot.
But he shoots back, and that's the point. So I think this is an interesting card, not one I would particularly run in Constructed, but we may see a place in certain control-y decks. This wouldn't be too bad in a mono blue control villain deck, I don't think, because if you're claiming a lot and letting your opponent do stuff, I don't mind my turn being Baze moment of peace claim. And just be like, deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not too bad. I would say I'd probably give him a 2 out of 5 on the Spiceometer.
No, interesting fact. Last week was the first time you've given a 1.5 rating.
What card was it?
It was... I can't remember what card it was. But you gave it twice.
Huh.
And I had to go way back and try and find where you originally sent them to me because
you
you just never used 1.5 before until then.
There you go. Well,
We have now used every single one.
Many more to come. This next card is definitely a character I didn't expect, and a lot of people were like, why Pong Krell?
Why Pong Krell?
Why General Pong Krell, the clone murderer?
But this is from our community reveals.
It's our double green.
We're very excited to see the aggression one coming later. Sorgarera. But this is Pong Krell. He is a 5-cost command. He is a 5/4. And he has the ability.
Each other unit you control, each other friendly unit you control, has, when defeated, draw a card. the cost to stat ratio on this for me is a bit. I personally, I would have preferred Jabba stats. Or
I
something
would have
similar.
loved Jabba stats
This would
on
have been
him.
this would be a great card if it was like a 2/7.
Or,
This would
yeah.
be wild.
This would be very... I would love that a lot.
That'd be awesome.
Interesting thing, Force.
Force.
Makes sense,
Yeah,
but I didn't expect it.
But you know, I honestly, I'll agree with that. I did not expect the last mono green card to be a Force. Force Jedi Republic. A couple of notable decks this could go in is any deck that you're running weenies in. So, you know, your mono green layer decks is probably your best choices with the operative and stuff. And honestly, it's not my first pick, but it isn't a bad choice to maybe have as a 2 in Hera. You're getting value if your Spectres die. It's a unique unit that you can buff with Hera. And if your opponent swings into Pong Krell to mitigate your draw effect, it means your Spectres aren't taking damage, and it's acting as a 5/4 Sentinel, which isn't entirely all that bad. Yes, Pong Krell himself doesn't actually get the draw when he dies. Only other units you control do. But it's a lot can be said about it. But I think what really threw me is just it's a 5-cost 5/4, and that's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot of investment for something that can be open-fired.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
And the fact that he doesn't... Like, I wish it was when a friendly unit, so it included himself.
Yeah.
So at least if they just went open fire, you're like, I get to draw a card.
But you don't. On the bright side, if you control a Callus and you trade into something, you have to draw 2 cards if it's unique.
Yeah, but that
I
involves
know
him
what you
sticking
mean.
around for a turn.
Yeah, Pong Krell is an interesting card, which I have a theory. And my theory is that Pong Krell is going to be really good in Twilight of the Republic. You can quote me on this.
With clones.
I genuinely actually think that. Not a bit that he's like, kill all your clones. I actually think that in Twilight of the
He's
Republic...
going to be like, kill all your clones, draw a bunch of cards.
I actually think that we'll probably be getting a lot of 1-cost clones. Or even, and this is something I might be coping on, or having my copium over here, but I think that Twilight of the Republic is where we're going to see unit tokens. And I think he is a payoff in a unit token synergy deck, which is all about like swinging with your tokens and they die and stuff like that. And you're meant to be like equipping lightsabers onto Pong Krell, making him tougher. Maybe there'll be a card that like means he can't take damage if there's like another card on the board that they have to kill or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see something like that coming around. I think the fact that he's mono, like command makes it tough because I'd love to run him in like a Force.
I can see
like a green,
I can
blue
see
Force
a Cody
deck
deck.
or...
I can see a Cody deck coming in set 3. That's all about clones. But again, that's looking off far into the future. We've still got to get past set 1 and set 2, which I have a lot of exciting things that I want to see from set 2.
Absolutely.
But overall, I think Pong Krell is very interesting. I don't know where he stands right now. I'm just going to give him a 2 for right now because I think 5 is such an investment for a 5/4.
That is fair enough. This next card, very interesting. Something that we kind of theorized would happen from the very beginning.
I didn't think it would be in set 1. I didn't think it would be in set 1.
I thought it would be. I thought it would be more prevalent. But
I didn't. I love this.
We have Strafing Gunship, a 4-cost cunning,
Monocon.
neutral, 3/4 with the text. This unit can attack units in the ground area.
Sure can.
While this is attacking a ground unit, the defending unit gains -2, -0.
I love this.
This is a very interesting card.
This is a very good card.
And just before we start talking about it, I do want to clarify something that has been confirmed.
The Sentinel rule?
The Sentinel
ruling.
ruling. So, and I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible, right? To swinging with the Strafing Gunship into a ground unit. If there is a ground Sentinel, you can ignore that ground Sentinel and attack any unit in the ground. If there is a Space Sentinel, you cannot attack into the ground.
The main reason is because Sentinel reads units in the same arena as this unit cannot attack our bases or other units until they've defeated this unit. So that means because the Space Sentinel's in the same arena as the ship, you have to attack that unit before you can attack others. If there's a ground Sentinel, you don't have to attack it because it's not in the same arena as the Starfighter, which is that interesting interaction. It has been confirmed that works that way. So very, very interesting. If there's a Space Sentinel, no go. If there's a ground Sentinel, attack whatever you want.
And it is a little bit confusing because the reminder text on cards doesn't have that little...
But the rules text does.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. But so I didn't think we'd see this in set 1. I did think we would see it. But I'm really glad it's in set 1 because it sets what I like to call a mechanical precedence.
Yeah.
Which means that we see something in one set and it's essentially foreshadowing mechanics that can appear later on, and they do it in a small dose to make it more digestible when they can bring it in medium and large doses in other sets.
Yeah, absolutely. And this card is just really good. This, I've seen some people talking about it. There's a lot of hype around it.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are saying it's not as good as the hype wants it to be, but in general, everyone kind of agrees that it is a good card.
It's aggressively costed at the cost of 4 for what it does. It's a 3/4, correct?
Yes, it is a 3/4.
This card is so awesome in Jin.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the -2, -0.
Plus another -1, -0.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like... And also being able to ambush this in is really powerful. Having to, being able to ambush this in space and go for a ground unit makes this card really interesting.
I love this card with Hardpoint Heavy Blaster. Pay 2, put it on it, give it +2/+2, and when it deals damage to a unit, it can deal 2 damage to a unit in that same arena.
Yeah, so you're attacking into the ground and then dealing 2 more damage to the ground.
How good is that?
Yeah, it's very good, and it's a really cool...
A 5/6 that gives something -2, -0 on attack. You can ambush in with the Ardu to attack a ground or space unit. It's really flexible. It takes out A-Wings really nicely. It takes out Echo-based defenders, Fleet Lieutenants, what is it called? Battlefield Marines. It takes out a lot of those cards that you go, I want to get rid of this. And it takes them out with relative ease, which I love.
I think this card is in its perfect position as a card in a green-yellow Jin deck.
I agree.
That runs Yaru, Conversion Lab to ambush this in. It also has that Jin to make it a -3, so you can swing into those things like Fleet Lieutenant, clear them off and take no damage in return.
This is also incredibly good in Boba. I don't think we should discount that.
Yeah.
Just, Boba loves having cards that make it easier to kill other cards, and the fact that this one can go into space or ground, and it gives a negative to the ground units when it attacks, Boba just goes, awesome, kill this small ground unit, you take no damage back, I'm untapping, we're getting maximum value. It's just... all in all, this is a great card. Yeah, I love this.
Keeping in mind, there are still cards like Shoot First and stuff like that that are going to make this card really useful.
Shoot First into a ground unit.
Shoot First into a space unit.
Yep.
Like, the fact that this card, anything, I think if you've played the game before, something that can just swing into either lane is actually quite big.
It's nothing we've ever experienced before, and I'm so excited that this is a card that exists. I think it's really good. I don't think it's overhyped. I think a lot of people say, oh, the hype is too much. It is a card that can attack both arenas. That's quite good. I think it's honestly a solid 3.5. I think it's a solid 3.5 to 4. I think this is a really good card. I think using it in the decks that it wants to be in is going to be an incredibly strong card and a creative endeavor, but I wouldn't build a deck around this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Next card, we've been talking about that Force deck. I believe I talked about it last episode.
And the episode before that.
And the episode before that. And my God, did it just get another really good card. Guardian of the Whills. This is a 2-cost, Vigilance Neutral 2/2, Force Fringe with the first upgrade you play on this unit each turn has its cost reduced by 1.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
That is awesome. Jedi Lightsaber for 2.
Devotion, Entrenched for 1.
Devotion for 1. resilient for free.
Yeah, pretty much anything you put on this is amazing. I think Entrenched is probably one that people don't really think of.
Yeah, make it a 5/5 that can attack
paying
ground
1
units.
to go, awesome, this is now 5/5. Yeah, it can only attack units, but...
Paying 2 to make it a 5/5 that on attack gives something -2, -2. Did Jedi Lightsaber just get better? It was always great. Yes is the answer to that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a really cool card, and I think having a Force card that can come down this early for both villain and hero.
It was a good choice making it neutral. It was a really, if it was a hero card, I honestly think it might have been too much. This being a neutral card is great.
Yeah.
You can force throw really effectively now. That card was already good. Now it's even better.
It's very, very good.
I think this is a really solid turn 1 play in any Force deck. I like that it synergizes with upgrades, because realistically, a 2/2 Force unit is pretty great. It's not mind-blowing, it's good, and it's great in the deck it's great in, but a 2/2 Force unit that also makes the upgrades you want to play on it cheaper, especially in a deck that runs Protector, Devotion, and Jedi Lightsabers, and Luke's Lightsabers, is so great to be able to early game put resources onto a card and not overextend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is just a really cool card that's going to be... It's going to be in a lot of decks.
Yeah.
It's going to be in a lot of decks that, like, anything that runs Force is going to want to keep this around. And there's a lot of Force going around.
There is a lot of
Force. And there will be a lot of Force going around.
We said it last week. Anyone who says there's not a Force deck, like, not genuinely not trying to be mean, but that isn't the case. There is a Force deck. It's here, and it's getting upgrades, and it's well established set 1, and it's just going to get stronger sets 2 and 3, because as they've already said, if there's one keyword that's going to be in every set, it's going to be Force.
Oh yeah.
I would give this card a 3. I think this card's pretty solid. I think it sits middle of the road. And I think for what it does and where it belongs, it is a nice value piece. So I give it a 3 out of 5. This next card, it's a bit familiar. You like Leia, James?
I'm a fan.
You like Leia ability, right?
Yeah. No, it's good.
And you like when cards buff other cards, right?
I like
Like let's say
Yes.
let's say Leia had tap and then give raid 1,
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
and you'd like that, right?
I love that.
What if we didn't do that and we put it on a card and that card costs 1?
Right.
And just to be safe, we made it a rebel.
Would that be Rebel Assault?
It would be Rebel Assault.
The one cost of command heroism, Rebel Tactic, which attack with a Rebel unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack. Attack with another Rebel unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack.
Leia already had good stuff. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
were running Heroic Sacrifice in Leia, take that card out immediately and put this one in. I think this is wild for a number of reasons. A, it is a 1-cost, incredibly powerful ability. If you have 4 Rebel units out, you can now attack with all 4 of them in 2 actions. By playing 1 and tapping Leia. Not to mention, the most important part about this card, it's a dual aspect. One of those aspects is heroes, which means there is a cause that believes in this card.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just imagining something like Spec Soldier coming back into these decks, and turn 1, Benthic 2 tubes.
Yeah.
Spec Soldier, swing for...
You pay 1, you swing with Benthic for 3, putting 2 onto the boy, so in total you swing for 8 damage. That's insane.
on the first action of turn 2.
Yep.
And you still have 2 resources.
So you got 2 resources, pay 2 and slap down an X-Wing or an A-Wing.
Yeah.
Just show them that there's nothing going on here, don't worry about it. But in all honesty, it's a wild card. And the fact that this is hit by 4 cores I believe in is nuts to me.
And I think we do have to take the good with the bad. And there is downsides to this card.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, if you're in a lot of scenarios, this is going to be a pay 1 to give a card, attack with a card and give it +1.
Yeah, and you won't always get the attack 2 off. Most of the time you won't. I'd say most of the time you won't.
That's
not
not
that bad.
terrible.
That's not that bad. Shoot first is great. I've seen many people shoot first into the base for the extra damage because they needed it in that instance. Yes, shoot first is a great card, and its true value lies therein attacking another unit. This is a great card, which true value therein lies with attacking with 2 units. When you can't, getting that 1 extra chip damage in, honestly isn't that bad. And there can be arguments made, this is a dead card when you don't have units. There are a lot of dead cards when you don't have units. Keep fighting.
Overwhelming barrage.
Heroic sacrifice. A lot of dead cards.
But I think this is great in Leia.
Oh yeah, this was built for Leia.
It is better in Cassian. Green.
Oh yeah.
With Cassian gaining the... Like, Leia can already do it. Now she can do it a little bit better.
But Cassian now gaining the ability to do it
is actually huge.
Especially if you've got units, and this might seem not relevant, but I have a wing leader. I pay 1, I can now swing with this, dealing 3, triggering Cassian, and drawing a card. That's great. This can help propagate Cassian by allowing better draw. A lot of Cassian decks do run Heroic Sacrifice, and I genuinely believe that you swap them out.
Yeah, I think this is a card that is fantastic in Leia, but because Leia already has that kind of option, of course there is the option now of being like, oh cool, I can swing with something else that isn't Leia, swing with Leia, swing with another thing. Yeah. Because, so now you can get a triple...
Oh wow, I didn't even think that. You could triple attack with Leia.
You can triple attack with Leia now.
Holy crap.
Yep. I just thought of that just then.
Okay, maybe it is better in Leia.
I just thought of that, and yeah, you can triple attack with Leia.
That pushed it up, and this was going to be like a 3.5. I think this might be a 4. A 4.5. I'm giving this a 4. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5.
It is a very good card, and it's going to be very interesting.
Well, should we move on to the next one?
Is Leia an action?
Leia's tap?
Yeah.
Leia's tap is an action.
Like when is it when this card attacks, attack with another rebel?
Oh,
or is it action, attack with another rebel?
It's when she attacks, so you can do that. You can
I just wanted to make sure.
You can pay 1 to attack with Leia, give her +1/+0, making her hit for 5 because she's a grade 1, so you be hit her for 5. Swing with something else. With this, and then resolve the layer effect to swing with 3 things.
Or you can swing with something, swing with Leia, swing with something else.
That's nuts.
That can close games.
This is great in red Leia. This is great in yellow Leia. Imagine swinging with Leia. Imagine doing this, swinging with Ezra, flipping another one off the top,
flipping a surprise strike.
Oh my god! All right. This is a good card. We can talk about it for ages. Let's move on. It's a 4 out of 5. I think it's really good. It's a rebel, so it's searchable from Mon Mothma. This is so interesting. So we saw this artwork quite a while ago now.
Yeah, they were teasing this artwork quite a while ago.
This is Lando with the stormtroopers behind him.
Yeah, and this is a card that definitely goes into those kind of... it's a Thrawn card. I get that you want like Boba, but it's a Thrawn card.
It's a Thrawn ramp.
It is. I had no choice.
This is a trick.
It sure is. So get those jobbers out and get ready because this is a 7-cost cunning villainy card, and I will read it out so that I don't screw
What is it with these yellow events and having a lot of text?
It's yellow, man. That's just what it does. Choose up to 2 non-leader units. An opponent chooses one of those units. Return that unit to the owner's hand, and put the other at the bottom of the owner's deck. Putting a card at the bottom of an owner's deck is some of the best removal you can get.
Nice K2SO. Imagine going, I pick your wing leader and I pick your K2SO. You have to return one of them to your hand and tuck the other. They might go, oh yeah, I take that wing leader. I'm so okay with that.
Yeah, it's one of those really interesting situations. Like, you're giving your opponent a choice,
but the choice is
bad.
We've seen a couple cards like this, and we had an option last week. We had Don't Get Cocky, and we've seen I Am Your Father. Now we've rated both those cards pretty lower on the curve, and the main reason is because it gives your opponent a choice, and doing that isn't always great. This time, you are guaranteed removing 2 things. Waylay is good, Cantina Bouncer is good, but bouncing something and then guaranteed removal, ignoring when defeated effects, because the unit that is placed on the bottom of the deck is not defeated, it is put to the bottom of the deck, is incredible. You're removing 2 things for 7, which is great. Now, this definitely does belong in Thrawn because you can ramp to it. You can look at the top card of your deck, pay 1, and practically rest anything in the game. Nice Darth Vader leader. Flip this, tap it, play this, bounce your 2 things. That's great.
Yeah, it's very cool card, and I think that Thrawn Ramp deck really is really going to benefit from this. I think there's some really cool stuff that you can do with it. I think there's some really cool choices that you're going to have to force your opponent to make.
That deck had a trouble with things like direct damage, and it was getting to the 7 resource part where you would hit what I guess was a waiting room, where you would just wait till you could get to the point where you could play your big stuff. And in that interim, it was a bit hard for you to remove. And I really think this card makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, I would definitely consider also putting Jabba back into that Thrawn
Getting
deck.
Asteroid Sanctuary, getting Shoot First, getting this.
Paying 6 for it as well, just a little bit cheaper, does make that difference of
especially when you're ramping to it.
I think this is a really cool card that is going to be definitely used. I don't know whether it's going to be like a full meta card, but I don't think it's going to be
a meta card, but I do think this is one of those cards, and you said it before, where it's going to do work in the decks it wants to be in. I don't think you actually put this in Boba Fett, and the main reason is it is 7 resources. You don't need to get there with Boba. You can stop at 6. And I find I pretty comfortably do. You definitely can keep resourcing because there are some great options to go to, but I wouldn't auto-include this. Now, I give this card a 3.5 out of 5 on the Spice Summoner. I think it's creative, I think it's strong, and I think it will be overlooked. Now, the last card got revealed today. This is an interesting card. This is the Emperor's Legion. Yep. This is a 2-cost command villainy Imperial, I believe, tactic. Imperial tactic.
Imperial Supply.
Imperial Supply. And it says, return each friendly unit from your discard pile that was put there this phase. So if someone
that was defeated
this phase.
Defeated this phase.
Sorry, that was defeated this phase.
So return each unit in your discard pile that was defeated this phase to your hand.
Someone overwhelming barrages me, kills 3 of my guys, and I go, pay 2, get them back. James said something really interesting on the gameplay episode, which was play IG-88 green 1-drop weenies and swing and swing and swing, kill a bunch of stuff. If you need to, swing into your opponent's units and trade hard. Then pay 2, get them back and play them all again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting kind of card to see. Like, I think it's easy to be like, that card isn't great. For a lot of reasons. I think I think this is a late game card where you don't really care about throwing 2 costs to just recycle cards. And I think it's going to be a really interesting where this falls, because I genuinely don't know this card. We only got this card today. I haven't been able to test it. I haven't been able to build any decks around like doing that sort of thing. I genuinely don't know how good it's going to be, and it's very hard just looking at this card to find out how good that is going to be. And maybe it's incredible in maybe the Emperor Palpatine that we're getting tonight is going to give all Imperial units when they die deal 1 damage to an opponent's unit.
Oh my god!
So like you get benefit from that. You play this, you bring them all back,
that's
the kind of deck that they're trying to do. There.
Also, can I just interrupt you quickly? Hi guys, it's Reese. Future Reese doesn't know this yet, but can you imagine if we don't get Palpatine?
I feel like there'd be riots on the streets.
Everyone is certain. We're certain. Everyone in the community is certain.
Everybody in the community is certain that we're getting Palpatine.
But this could work really well with him.
You might be thinking, oh, well, why don't you just show him off now? I get it. By the time this comes out, he is out. Next week is going to be all about leaders and what they're doing, and we're going to do a full thing on leaders.
We're actually going to do probably a tier list on the leaders.
Yeah, so that's all going to be next week.
Yeah, first tier list! I'm so excited!
But yeah, check that out when it comes out, but that's why we're not waiting for Palpatine.
Before we move on, I give the Emperor's Legion a 2 out of 5 on the Spice Summoner. I don't know where its value lies yet. I think there's a deck for it, but I just can't be certain. I think if our theory on Pong Krell is true, we could see a pretty good mono-green clone villain deck that returns all of your defeated units to your hand. Swing, swing, swing. Draw, draw, draw. Pay 2. Get them all back. That's a fat hand.
Yeah.
But
I think I'd also like It's the last thing about this card is it's really interesting that it's a villain. I would have expected this to be more
Neutral?
of a hero.
Yeah, I thought hero too, because villain has the most sweepers. I think we said this before. Villain has the board wipes. Overwhelming Barrage, Palpatine. Hero doesn't. Hero just doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's weird that the recovery card from board wipes isn't the board wipe colors.
Like, imagine Sabine Green being like, I play 3 A-Wings and start swinging. You're like, overwhelming barrage, get rid of them. And they're like,
Pay 2.
but what if I can?
What if I get them back and I play them right now?
Yeah.
And you go,
Maybe that's why they didn't.
that's true.
Yeah.
It was Sabine. Blame it on Sabine, everybody.
Like, if they were like, wing leader, like A-Wing, wing leader, A-Wing, and it's like swung a bunch with them, and you're like, overwhelming barrage, clear it all. And you're like,
Woo!
they're like, awesome.
Pay 2.
Pay 2, get
back.
all 3 back.
Get it back. The Rebels Legion. Get it back.
Okay, no, let's not think about that. It's horrible thoughts.
What
But-
time is it? It's pre-release time.
It's pre-release time.
We're going to talk to you, humble viewers and loyal viewers. Spices, if you will. Because that's a cool nickname to call our audience, y'all. You're a bunch of spices, and I love it. We're going to be talking about pre-release.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have, at this point, we talked about it before, if you haven't gone and checked out the gameplay video for this week, go check it out. We do a simulated sealed event, and we have a game against each other.
If you
It's
haven't
really
checked out FFG's live stream on it, go check it out right now. Xander, and I think Corey, was it Corey? I believe Corey came on and they did some live stream. They opened a pre-release pack. Very exciting. We got to see the leaders and some judge stuff, and the championship Mace Windu. Oh, Mace Windu.
It's very cool.
But we'll just run through the quick basics of Star Wars Unlimited pre-release, and then we'll discuss our thoughts and our picks and how it differs from other TCG pre-releases that you might have played, or if you've never done a pre-release before, we'll cover off a bit about what you should look out for.
Awesome. So, in your pre-release kit, you will get 6 booster packs and 2 leaders. The 2 leaders are an alt art version of Luke Skywalker.
Look how swole he is!
He's so swole.
And Darth Vader. Look at how grab he is. He's going like this in the artwork.
He is, absolutely.
One positive on that. Firstly, both of those leaders are foil variants as well, which the starter deck leaders are. And for those who aren't investing in a starter deck, this is a great chance to get your hands on a Luke and Darth Vader leader. Especially, your friend might have bought the starter deck and they open a pre-release kit and you go, hey, I don't have a Darth Vader and Luke leader. Well, here you go. I know we'll be attending a couple of pre-releases, so come hit us up if you want our spares.
But absolutely. And so those are the main things that you're going to get. Yeah, this is going to be the only environment where Vader and Luke are available for a sealed format.
Yeah. No draft leaders.
Immediately, we both threw our Vader and Luke in the gameplay video out the window and decided to go with other things. But you can
IG88,
run them.
baby. Ooh.
On camera forever, I lost to IG88.
It was sealed. It doesn't count. It was sealed. And the game was very close. It was a very close game.
But yeah, you're going to get these 6 boosters. Here's how I've always done pre-releases, how I've seen most other people do pre-releases. The first thing you're going to do, open up, be really happy that you're finally opening cards, cry a little bit. That's what I'm going to do anyway.
Cry.
And then...
Before we go into that, you'll also get one of each of the bases, I believe. So you get, don't you?
No. Oh. So the bases come in the stores.
Yeah, that's right.
Pre-release kit,
So, yeah.
and so you can ask the store that they'll have a set of bases.
Some cardboard punch-out tokens and a nice little cardboard deck box that's pre-assembled.
You do, absolutely. But as you open your packs, you're really happy about the cards you do.
Cry with joy.
Immediately sort them into
color.
sections. So generally is what I've seen is obviously like blue, yellow, green, red, then hero, neutral, villain.
Yeah, you'll sort it into the colors. And the main reason you do this, you might be sitting there going, but why? Why would I, a loyal Spicer, do this? And I say, loyal Spicer, I'm doing it. It's done now. It's done forever. This makes it easier to see what ratios of colors you have, to understand how many cards you have, which, in a sealed format, gives you the widest range of options to boost your consistency. You've heard it a lot by not just us, but a lot of other card games and a lot of other influencers in the community. I know the Garbage Rollers say it a lot, Late Night Gaming say it a lot, all that kind of stuff. Giving options is what makes a good player, essentially. And you want to give yourself as many options because in sealed, it is not consistent.
No. And this is not to say that you're going to choose the 2 biggest piles. There are situations where you go for a smaller pile because it's got better stuff in it and more consistent stuff in it. But this gives you a really good idea of what, like, you have. If you have a massive stack of hero yellow, then you're probably going to want to lean towards that and see what else you can do to complement that.
Now, one thing you might be sitting there going, okay, guys, but how am I going to build a 50-card deck? You're not. You're going to be building a 30-card deck. Pre-release is 30-card deck format, and namely, there are no maximum playsets of cards. You can run 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. As long as you pull them, you can run them in your deck. So if you out there, my little Spicer Timmy, pull 6 Battlefield Marines, yep, nice deck. I hope you got a layer leader.
Speaking of leader, you are limited to the whatever leaders you pull in those 6 booster packs.
So if you get, for instance, 4 IG-88s perhaps,
then you will have to stick with that. Now, obviously having the Vader and the Luke really extends your reach in that aspect.
Those are 2 great mid-range leaders that can be played easily.
But you are going to be slightly limited in that. You might not be able to play Emperor Palpatine because he is a rare leader and they're going to be harder to find.
So interestingly enough as well, you might be saying, okay, so we get our store has a basing area. So let's say I've sorted my stuff now and I picked my leader and I know what colors I'm going to go for. Great. Now you can't use 25 health bases because they're rare. So you can't use one unless you pulled one in the rare slot, and same with the rare leaders. Mm-hmm. So most of the time in sealed, you'll be seeing people using 30 health bases, which, depending on what you pull, isn't that bad, actually. With a sealed format, games can be incredibly swingy, meaning you'll be winning the first half, but you might just run out of steam really quickly and lose the second half. So it's good to have that buffer of 5 health. So think carefully. If you pull a 25 health base, don't just auto-lock it. Think about what you could do.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do in sealed, and having a sealed, one of the biggest things about sealed is like, 30 card deck, but like I go through so many of my cards in regular deck. Sealed deck is going to be a lot less controlling. The chances of you pulling the amount of removal that's used in these kind of control decks is almost none. So
you could pull Sabine, and you could go the whole night, and no one's got a force choke or a takedown against you, and your Sabine could just run rampant for 3 to 4 turns. It could be wild. Same with IG-88. There could be turns where your IG-88 just gets to swing for 5 damage, and it is brutal. Yeah. I think it's really interesting as well. And I believe pre-release games, they're best of 1. So there's no best of 3 format.
Best of
it
1.
is just, you sit down, usually you'll get about half an hour to build your deck. Yep. So don't think you're just going to get 10 minutes. They're going to rush you through it. You get time to think about it. You know, you'll sit next to your best friend in the whole world, and you'll be like, Bames drill from not the Spice Squadron, Loyal Spicer. After we watch the episode, you have a better understanding of blue than I do, and I pulled a lot of blue cards. What do you think about these? And then, you know, you can kind of have that conversation with people. You can't trade. It is notable to say you cannot trade before or during a pre-release event from the cards you pull. Go ham afterwards. Yeah. I love trading cards. I love doing it with people. I'm definitely going to be doing it after the event. But you cannot swap up cards to build a more consistent, better deck in a pre-release. The whole point is you build with the stuff you get from your 6 packs.
And you will get plenty of cards to build a deck with. One of the things with 6 packs, you are getting, I believe, like 84 cards?
16 cards per pack. So you do the
excluding
math.
The leader and the base is 14 cards per pack.
That's a lot of cards.
But it's a lot of cards that you're going to be getting, so you will be able to build something that is going to be fun and functional.
I actually think that's the most amount of cards I've ever had in a sealed event. From possibly. 6 boosters, just because I think 16 is a lot more than most usually give.
And it's also the case of you're going to get a lot of commons. You're going to get the building blocks of your deck
is it 9?
Are going to be
9 commons. I think it is. I think you get 9 commons, a base, a leader, 3 uncommons, and a rare or legendary, and a foil.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
Whack.
But yeah, there's a lot of really cool things you can do in these pre-releases, and the main thing is just have fun, because you're gonna be able to build a deck, you're gonna be able to play against people and not get run into the mono yellow boba and just be like, oh, I'm so sick of playing mono yellow boba. Chances are you're not gonna verse it.
Hey, if you run into mono yellow boba, chances are it's gonna be nowhere near as powerful as it normally is, unless they've cheated or pulled really well.
But yeah, it's a really fun environment. It is a casual format, and so just have fun. Pre-releases are some of the funnest events that I've ever gone to, because everyone's pulling new cards. Everyone's not seen these cards before. Everyone's finally getting cards in hand, which is such a huge thing, and playing with people in front of them. And
it's so exciting.
It's just
we can't talk about it too much, because the more we talk about it, the more excited we get. Star Wars Unlimited is right at the point, as of time of recording, where it's so close and so far. We are 1 month away, and I just can't wait a month. I just can't. Xander, Tyler, Danny, everyone in the team, just let us have it now. We've seen you print it. We've seen you open it. Just scooch it forward a little bit. Pretty please?
No, wait a month.
I'll wait a month. But one thing from pre-release I think that's really fun is don't be afraid to hamper creative potential. If you see a couple of cards and you go, I wonder if these work well together, this is the time to do it. Pre-release isn't a competitive format. It's not a competitive event. It is designed to be fun, to get your hands on the new cards, and if you win a couple games, sweet. But don't be afraid to test out that combination you want, because you might just find that in pre-release you go, these two cards worked a lot better than I thought, and I might build a constructed deck around them.
Absolutely, and I think it's really key to just focus on that in enjoying yourself. If you enjoy yourself, people around you are going to enjoy themselves. And
it's just a big part.
I know I'm going to 4 pre-releases, and it's going to be the best weekend ever.
I'm so keen. I've taken Friday off work to go to the pre-releases.
We're so keen, and we hope that you guys are too.
Oh yeah.
And we're just super excited to go through this with you guys. If you guys are in Brisbane, obviously come down to the...
Please,
we're going to see you at those pre-releases.
There's pre-releases at Mint Collectibles, I believe we'll be hosting on Friday. I believe we're going to Good Games Strathpine on Saturday morning. And then Saturday and Sunday we're going to Vault Games in the City and Clayfield respectively. So we hope to see you guys there. We would love to see you there. And if you see us there, don't be afraid to walk up and be like, guys, I watch your podcast. I love it so much. And talk to us.
Yeah.
Because
we'll go,
hi. I will go, I love you.
I'll be scared. I'll be like, real people knowing us? Never.
I love you. And you want me to say that in real life? Well, I'll do it. And all you got to do is come to me and just say hi, because we're friendly. We love this game. We love you guys, and we love talking with our friends.
We're so excited to play this game with you guys and everybody, international, in Australia.
Yeah.
We will see you at big events. We will be there. We will be playing this game alongside you, and we are so excited for it.
I think overall, just make sure you get ready for pre-release. Make sure that you have ordered your product. If you are interested in getting starter decks, boxes, pre-release tickets, make sure you get on top of that. Get it now. Make sure you message your LGS and say, hey guys, are you running Star Wars Unlimited? And if not, let's get it going.
Absolutely. I think we're going to cut it there. A little bit of a shorter episode.
Getting ready for a longer
ones that are going to be coming a little bit later. We're going to have a lot of cards. There is a creator event. Obviously,
I wish we could have gone.
We're not part of it because we're in Australia, and definitely not because we only have 150 subscribers. It's only because we're in Australia. Otherwise, we'd be there. No worries, don't worry about it.
I think that if we were in America, we probably would have gotten an invite. But it is in Minnesota.
But yeah, check that guy out. We're going to be checking it out. We're going to be there talking on the chats, having a whole lot of fun. And so check that out. Then... the week after that week, there's that we're going to finally learn what the multiplayer rules are. So get excited for that.
So excited for
That's going to be really exciting. And yeah, yes, it's a month away, but at every moment between now and then, there's more information, there's more things coming out, there's more things to get excited about. This time is going to fly by, and we're going to be there soon. We're so close and so excited.
I did want to say something just before, because we are so close to it now. James and I, on Friday the 8th of March, or if you're in America, Thursday the 7th, we will be live streaming, opening our product.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be live streaming, opening up a bunch of product that we've gotten on that day. It might be a little bit cheeky because we live in Australia and we will not be breaking release date in Australia. But you guys in America, check us out because we might be the first people you see doing it.
Because America, Australia doesn't exist, kangaroos aren't real, and we're in the future.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Check out next week's episode where we talk all about leaders and see that Palpatine later.
Oh, yeah. See that Palpatine later? Look at the tier list and Spices. We love you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.